trying to get in the Zoom room. So I went to go check my email to see if anyone was waiting. I can let you guys in that way. So yeah, if that ever happens again, which hopefully that won't happen again, but if it ever happens again, I might end the meeting and then log back in, and then hopefully that'll bring up admit the class button. So
Morning, Yvonne.
good morning, Eleanor. How are you?
Good.
Good. Glad everybody's here. Let's see, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Everybody's here and on time. That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. Today is 11/10. So let me write that down. November 10th, 20, and this is, what day does it say? Tuesday, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What's that, Jordan?
I was letting my uncle know something about the tag on the back of his shirt was popping up.
Okay. All right, let me turn my ringer off here.
I don't want my uncle to go to work with this tag popping up on the back of his shirt, so I was like, I'll let him know.
Okay, so how many of you have remembered yesterday to do your daily entry for the daily recognition form? And it looks like, you guys know what that looks like? I don't know if I have it handy.
I can show you, Yvonne.
You have it? Yep, that's it.
Yep.
Okay, it looks like you have it filled out for the entire week, though. Is that from last week?
Yes.
Can you print out the new one? Can you print out the new one for this week?
Well, I can't because I don't know how.
Well, how did you get the first one?
That Miss Sherry sent us this back in the first place.
Actually, you know what? You don't have to have it printed out, really, because how are you going to get it back to Sherry if you print it out, right?
Yeah.
So if you open that in Google Docs, you'll be able to just plug in your questions, your numbers, and then write a little comment about how your week went. Well, actually, you should write down a comment for that day, right? So did anybody do it yesterday?
I did.
You did? Jordan, did you fill it out yesterday? No? I can't
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. So you were supposed to have done that yesterday. At the end of each day, rate yourself on each of the categories and really think about it. Don't just say, 3 is down the road. Just think about how you did, let's see who's in this class. Okay. Yeah, I think most of you will probably get 3s. But if you're late, if I call you on being late, that's not going to be a 3 for that day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because not you, Cloud, when you left for work, that's not being late. You told me ahead of time that you had to leave early because you have work, and that's totally fine. You are not late for that. You are being responsible and letting me know that you're going to be gone. So that's fine with that way. What's that, Royce?
Doesn't he have work day?
Yeah, I do.
Are you going to stay in for the whole Zoom?
Yeah, I am.
You are?
No.
Okay. Is that light, is it too bright in my background?
What light?
Well, I have a light. I have a light above and I have a light on the side. Do you think it's too bright? Do I seem too bright? Because I can turn that light off.
Not really. I think your background image overlaps it because we can't really see the light.
I wonder if that's better. Is that better?
You look fine.
Okay. Is this so bright in here? I guess if it doesn't matter. Oops. Oh no. It's actually coming off. Okay. Okay. It's my mom's, well, anyway. Okay, so let's do our good mornings. So good morning, Clad.
Good morning, Yvonne.
So you're working today. How are you liking your job?
Right now it's pretty slow, but later on we're gonna get more orders in.
Yeah, for Christmas time, yeah, because it's just like the first week in November, so it's going to be probably picking up pretty quick, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know, because people like to order things, you know, before Christmas. If they're sending them out, you know, they want to get them there early, and yeah. Well, good. It's pretty slow, but but actually, if it's slow and you're new, that's a good thing because it'll give you time to learn the job, right? Before it gets really hectic. Because if you start working like December, you're just already going to walk into this chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I did it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Do you get to actually work with your mom, or is she in a different department?
Same department.
Same department?
Yep.
Nice. So is that fun, or is that not fun?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
You don't mind? Oh, that's good. You get along good with your mom?
Mm-hmm. We get along pretty well.
Good. That's good. Yeah, sometimes families don't like to work together because it's too much. If they live together and then they go to work together, you know, sometimes it's not a good thing because if they don't really get along, then you're there the entire day with them, right? You can't come home and get away, or you can't go to work and get away. You're there all the time.
Well, yeah, if you're thinking like that, then yeah.
Yeah. When I worked with Elliot, I actually thought I was going to be able to see him more. You know, when I with Laura Ruffin, then he was actually hired like 3 months after I got there, and but I never really saw him. We went to work together and then came home together, and he had his different lunch break than me. His was earlier, and so I never really saw him unless I went into Arnold's room or I took a quick second to go ask him a question. But yeah, so it wasn't really like I saw him the entire day. I really didn't, because I was in room 1 and room 3 and he stayed in room 5. You know, there was one part where when I was working one-on-one, I had half the day in Arnold's room with my student, and then I was there with him half the day, but I was working with my student, and then I took on, that's how I met Royce and Andrew in that class, and I got to be hanging out with those guys because they were in the back of the classroom, and that's where I had that table. Remember, Royce?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I enjoy working with my kids. I get along really, really well with all my kids. So I would love to work side by side with them doing something because they're all really good workers too. So there's that. Okay. So anything else you want to add or say, class?
Let's see. I think I just woke up too, so I feel kind of
Yeah. I've been up for hours, so I'm just like right awake. I took my shower this morning and ran some kids to pick up with someone at 6 a.m. to bring them home, and then took someone else to work at 7:30. So I've been running around, so I'm awake. Plus I got some tea.
You already woke up. Good job then.
Yeah, I got my tea going too, so
It's even better.
even better get a little caffeine going. Wish it was the coffee though. I'm so tempted to drink that coffee. Jordan, when I see you drinking your coffee, I'm like, oh, I can almost smell it. I miss coffee, let me tell you. If you ever get to a point where you're going to stop drinking coffee and someone in your household drinks it, you're on your...
I did, Yvonne. When I had my wisdom teeth out for a while, I couldn't drink coffee because of the hotness. And my family would drink it around me, and I'd be like,
You can always get iced coffee.
Yeah, I prefer coffee cold.
Yeah, I like iced coffee. Oh, it's so good. Tyler, have you ever made your coffee, cold coffee, iced coffee, and put coffee creamer in it, like French vanilla or hazelnut? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, it's really good.
Isn't that the bomb? I mean, and it's so much cheaper than going to Starbucks. Starbucks, their drinks are like $5.50, $6 a drink, you know, but you can go get a big, for $3.50 or whatever, you can get a big thing of coffee creamer and make your iced coffee. I love iced coffee. Love it. I don't drink it. Well, I don't drink coffee anymore anyway, but I mean, I used to love to drink it in the summertime. It was absolutely the bomb. Okay, let's go to Jordan. So good morning, Jordan.
Good morning, Miss Yvonne.
So have you been this last couple of days?
I've been good. My stitches finally dissolved, and then later today at 2:20 I have to go for a deep cleaning, which I was worried about that at first because I'm like, they're gonna do my gums and they might pop the stitches. And my aunt's like, well, your stitches are gone, honey, so there's no reason for you to freak out.
Yeah, and if you're worried about it hurting you, Jordan, have them numb you, because they don't have to give you the shots to numb. They have a little cream that they put in there, a little gel that they give you before they give you the shots. So if you have them put that on your teeth when they're going to deep clean, that'll help a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to go through that and just feel everything. You can just ask them to, I would just ask them to numb, because a deep cleaning, they're going to get really down in your root of your tooth. So.
I mean, last time I had a deep cleaning, they tried to put the shot and the Novocaine in the shot in the roof of my mouth, and the guy could not do it. He could not do it because the moment that needle touched the roof of my mouth, I wouldn't say I flipped out, but I like gave him a look like, get this thing out of my mouth. And then he looks at my aunt and he's like, he was like, she is not going to take this needle and she is not going to take the medicine. Like, maybe if you give it to me a different way, I'll take it. But if you put a needle towards me, I'm not going to take it.
Well, when they're working on your teeth, you, depending on what they're doing, you might want to let them give you that shot, because that shot is not going to be as painful as what they're going to do. I'll give you an example. I hate dentists. I need to actually go, but I hate them. And when I was probably about 10 years old, I went to the dentist because I had a cavity. In fact, I had 3. I had 1 decent sized cavity and I had 2 starting of a cavity, right? So I go in there and he says, okay, I'm going to give you a shot. And I'm like, okay, where? And he's like, well, it's going to be in your mouth. I'm like, no. And I've never had a shot in my mouth before that, right? And I'm like, no shots. I hated it. I was so afraid of shots. And then in my mouth, I'm like, I don't think so. And I told him, do you have to give me a shot? And he goes, well, I don't have to, but, you know, I'm going to drill on your teeth and it's going to hurt. And I said, that's okay. Do it anyway. I don't want to have that shot in my mouth. I was terrified of that. He's like, well, are you sure? Stupidly, he did it. He should have got my aunt took me. He should have got her in there and asked her permission, because I was little. I was like 9 or 10. And so he started drilling. Was okay. Felt a little uncomfortable, but it was okay. The first 2 little cavities, filled it in. Nothing, no problem. Bless you, Clyde.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Bless you. But that third cavity that he worked on, oh my good heaven, it was horrific, horrible, the pain, because he had to drill deep because it was a worse cavity, right? My hands were the dental chair just because I was dying. I was sinking in the chair trying to get away from that pain. I was sinking down, and it was, like I said, it was excruciating pain, just really bad. But he finished it, and I suffered that whole time, but he finished my cavity, and after he was done, I was shaking really bad, and I was trying so hard not to start crying, because it hurt so bad, and it was such an awful experience. And I'm like, I don't want to be a big baby and I want to cry, right? So I walk out so they can sign me out. So I walk out there and it's like, don't cry. and one of the receptionists had this little tiny little puppy, and she had it in a box behind her desk. And I'm looking at the puppy, trying not to, and then it just made me want to cry more because of the cute little puppy. And then she goes, "Oh, do you want to play with the puppy?" And I didn't say anything. I'm just like, and my eyes just filled up with tears. And I bent down and started playing with the puppy, and then just tears were just streaming down my face because I was afraid to get that shot. But let me tell you, I never ever went to the dentist again and not had a shot because that just was like really bad. Some dentists are really super good at giving shots and you don't even feel them. Some dentists, though, if they're a bad one, oh boy, that's horrific too, that shot. But the drilling, though, is why you want to go through the pain of the shot. Because that drilling, and if it hits that nerve, oh my God, it's bad. It's really bad, especially if you've got a deep cavity.
Also, when the dentist puts their hand in my mouth, I'm a biter, so if you put your hand in my mouth, I'm going to bite. And they tell me, they're like, open your mouth, and I'm like, oh, you put your hand in my mouth. My first intention is to bite.
Did you bite the dentist?
Well, I didn't bite him because he had like those things in my mouth to keep it open, but I was trying, and they gave me a suction-y thing that I just kept playing with.
So did they put the little square blocks in your mouth, the little rubber blocks?
Yeah, they put that in my mouth to keep it open, and like I said, he gave me that suction-y thing, and he tried taking it away from me, and he was like, "Do you just want to keep doing this and playing with it?" I'm like, "Yes, just let me have the thing. If you want me to, give me the thing that's to bite." Yeah, those blocks are very, very helpful, especially if they're doing like a root canal that takes a lot of time to do, because your mouth gets, so they keep telling you, open bigger, like, I can't, my jaw's cramping. So they put those blocks so you don't have to have your mouth open, it just opens it, and then you can just relax. So those are very, very helpful, I think, those blocks. Yeah, the dentist horror stories. I'll probably have nightmares tonight. Okay, well, I'm glad you're doing better. Okay, so good morning, Tyler.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Good. So you have any horror stories you want to tell?
No.
Darn.
Well, today is Dentist Horror Story Day. You should have saved this for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm a little late on the horror stories, huh? So, anything you want to talk about, Tyler?
No.
No, everything's going okay then?
Yeah.
Eleanor, you look so happy. So I'll go back to the top. So, good morning, Devin. You're on mute.
Fine.
There you are. Hi, Devin. Well, how are you doing, Devin?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. So how are you? So how are you liking what do you think of the project search so far, up until this point?
I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's a big change from Laurel Ruff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to do. You have to be responsible for coming in and out of the classroom on time, and that's a biggie. You can't just get up and leave, like you did in school, right? It's a big change. It's a big adjustment, I think. But you were always, as far as you did really, you did really well in class and did everything that you needed to do. So you were very disciplined in school. So coming over here to Project Search and being disciplined, that wasn't a big, like a humongous, oh my God, kind of change for you. You just kind of just slid right in, and you're doing really great in everything you're doing. So I'm really, really happy you're here. So is there anything you want to talk about in class?
No.
Okay. Oop, burpees. Good morning, Eleanor.
Good morning.
Are
Yvonne.
you happy? Are you happy this morning, Eleanor?
Yes.
Are you always happy?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you are. So, is there anything you want to talk about in class?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. Good. Good morning, Royce.
Morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Fine.
Fine. So, what do you want to talk about this morning, Royce?
I got nothing to talk about.
Nothing at all? I mean, absolutely nothing? Are you
Yep.
sure? There's
100
got to be.
positive.
There's got to be something you want to share. Just one thing.
Oh, I know one thing.
What's that? What's
Grace
that?
got me a game on Friday.
Really? What game?
I think it was called Super Mario 3D All Stars.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Was that for your birthday?
Yeah, it's my birthday. He got it for me.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's really cool. So, have you
Mhm.
played it a lot?
No, I haven't gotten the game yet.
Oh.
Because I left this, I had to leave ASAP because my mother had work.
Oh, you went to go visit Royce?
Yeah, I wish I could so I could get the game.
Oh.
But
Oh.
for now, I'll have to wait.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. That's cool. I love games.
So do I.
In fact-
They're fun.
In fact, yeah. In fact, I don't have any games on my computer. I have just like, I think 5 games maybe. And at home, I have a ton. I mean, I've got, I deleted them though because I was having, my computer's super old. And I had those games for years, and I never deleted them. But Elliot made me go the other day and just delete all the games that I don't play. I can download them again because they're out in cyberspace, wherever. But the ones I don't really play, I just deleted them all. But on my laptop, this was my school laptop when I was in college, and I only had like maybe 5 games on it, I think, and one of them was Monopoly. I love Monopoly, only online. I don't like to play the board game Monopoly because it's so time consuming, right?
I never liked it either.
Yeah,
like,
because, I mean,
I never liked it because it was like, is this really a good use of my time? And I could be playing something else?
Yeah, right, because it's just such a long game when you're playing the actual board game. But online, it goes by a lot quicker. So it's fun. In fact,
Yeah.
ages ago, when my kids were little, before I get onto the computer games, I had a little tiny, I don't know if you've ever seen those handheld Monopoly games. It's just a Monopoly game. It's
I think
not
I've
like a
seen
Game
one of
Boy.
those once. I know, it's like an actual device.
Yes. And I had that, and actually that was really, really fun that game. I played it a lot. So I last night I was playing the Monopoly game on my computer because you don't have to, you know how there's some games where when you go to a level, you're stuck playing that level until you finish the actual level, right? There's no, I love like cooking games, and there's like a certain level, like you got to serve like, I don't know, 10 people or whatever, 20 people.
Okay.
It's timed, and you have to pause it to
Okay.
be able to take a break or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the Monopoly because you don't have to pause it because you just don't roll the dice if you want to take a break, right? So that was kind of
Play
fun.
Cookie Mama?
And I got I have, my daughter has that game on the 3DS, and I played that. I don't have it on the computer though, but I have games that are similar to that.
Oh, okay.
Like
I was
Cookie
just curious
Friends.
since you did say you had it. We like cooking games. That's the first
yeah,
thing
I
that came to
do.
mind.
Yeah, and I have a lot of cooking games on my phone because I do a lot of waiting for my kids to get out of their work. So I'll sit there for 15 minutes while I'm waiting, and I just get on my phone. And like my latest one is Cooking Home, I think it is. It's pretty fun. But
Cool.
so did I? What's that?
I said that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love games. They're very relaxing. Games and reading. Okay, so we're
You're
supposed to
welcome.
be. So does anyone want to say anything else before we get going on the definitions? Is that it? Awesome, Jordan. Okay, now is that the one where you fill in?
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't have to be. Okay, because this one that we're going to work on, this is the one, and you can have your actual, I have my definitions, the ones that have the actual answers on here. But I don't want those actual answers on your paper. I want in your own words. And actually,
Fair.
that is a direction, is to find those terms in your own words. That way, like I said before, you remember them better when you explain it to yourself. So the first one is accessible. Now, raise your hand if you guys did this last night or the other day. Did anybody actually write them out and answer them?
Well,
That's
not
okay.
right.
Hmm?
Not right.
Okay, that's fine. Because I may want you. Ooh, excuse me, that tea did not go down the right pipe. Ugh. Okay, I don't know. Oh, that for a minute. Okay. When I sent you the words, did I send them in Google Docs by chance?
No.
No, but it took me there.
Oh, it took you there?
It was
Yeah.
in Microsoft Word.
That's what I thought.
It originally was in Microsoft Word, but then I put it in Docs.
Yeah, I tried
Oh,
putting it
awesome.
up. I'm still working on that part.
Okay, because I can upload this to Google Docs. I don't think it's in a Google. See, when I do this work, I put it to my computer and I save it as a RTF, as rich text format, and I save it on my thumb drive on my laptop. From there, so that way no one can get a hold of the original. It's not going to get messed up in any way. And if I lose it in Google Docs, which I've done before, it always have it. I always have the original copy to get back to that no one can manipulate that and change it. So that's why I do it that way. I don't ever create anything on Google Docs and leave it there. I mean, I used to back in the classroom, but since working from home, I don't do that because I've lost master copies of things. So I can go ahead and send this. I can upload this blank one to Google Docs and then send it so you guys can write in it that way. So I guess we can. I don't know how long it would take me if I did it now. You guys want me to send it now and then you guys can write in it as we're going? Or you can just write on a piece of paper the definitions and you can type it in later. After class, I can send you the Google Docs of this. So why don't we just do that so we can just get on it? Because it's already almost 9. Okay, so accessible. So the meaning, the actual wording is having access to or capable of being used. This can also describe buildings that can be used by everyone, including people who use a wheelchair, a walker, or a cane. So accessible. So you guys already know what the definition was to that before I gave it to you? Did you already know the definition to that? So, like our classroom and Project Search, that is totally accessible, right?
Yeah.
So is the school at Laurel Ruff, right? They have the stairs out front. They've got that driveway, a driveway going around the front of the school. And then they also have a ramp for the wheelchair people or people that walk with the walkers. They have that ramp where they can go up that way. And it's actually a walkway, remember? So that is totally accessible to all the students. They have big bathrooms there for the wheelchairs, right? So it's pretty accessible. So anybody with any disability can get in there if they need to. Okay, so accessible. So when you guys write your answer, it's that. So say that in your own words. Having a building accessible to everybody. What is that? How would you tell the next person? If I were to tell you, explain what accessible means, right? So write that down in a nice sentence what accessible means, or a couple of sentences if you need to explain it that way. Clad, what do you have?
Oh, sorry.
Something on
I
your
didn't
finger?
have it. I thought I had something on my finger.
Oh. Royce, you okay?
Mm,
Are you sleepy?
no.
No. Okay, so go ahead and write your answers down, and then I want to hear them.
Okay.
Write down your answer for accessible. Write it down on paper. That way, if you don't have it pulled up on the screen yet, then you can write it down what your answer is later when I send you the Google Docs. And I'll just send it to everyone because I don't know who. Well, I guess I could write it down. Okay, let me write down who needs me to send it. Eleanor, I know you probably need me to send it to you in Google Docs, right?
Guys, please.
Send terms to Eleanor. Devin, you want me to send you it in Google Docs? Yeah? Devin. And Royce, I'm going to go ahead and send it to you too, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, you want me to send it in Google Docs?
I got it in Google Docs. That's
Okay.
what it sent me.
Okay. And then Tyler, you said you had it, right? In Google Docs already?
No, I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it. Okay. Tyler, Clyde, you're the one that said you had it in Google Docs?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so Eleanor, Devin, Royce, and Tyler. I should have. Okay, so 2 that don't need it. So that was Clad. And who was the other one that didn't need it? Jordan did. Okay, that's who it is. Okay. All right. So I will send that after this Zoom meeting, and that way you guys can. So who wants to say what accessible means? How would you write that down?
I guess accessible in my own words is some. I got nothing.
Well, okay. Well, explain what I had said about the building, right?
Yeah, I would say it's you. Well, it's accessible to everyone by disabled, handicaps, and non-handicaps. But that's all I can think of.
Okay. Well, that's who would need it to be accessible, right? Handicaps, people in wheelchairs. That's who would need a building accessible. Tyler, were you gonna add something?
Yeah, it means you have the ability to access it.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, if I was in a wheelchair and I needed to, and I was working in a building, just say any building, what kind of things am I going to need for me to be able to go to work?
Like to get through the door and like get through like all the doors that inside the building.
Right, they have to be big enough so I can get my wheelchair through, right? Because wheelchairs
Yeah.
are kind of wide, right? What else am I going to need at work? Jordan, can you think of something I might need besides the wide doors?
you're gonna need a big bathroom stall for wheelchairs because they need those
Yes.
because they can't use the tiny ones.
Exactly. And that's what, now see, that would be my worry because I'm older and I'm going all the time. So if I'm in a wheelchair, I have to have a good sized bathroom to get my chair in there. Tyler?
If it's like a multi-story building, you have to have an elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. That's right. So I'm going to write down who's contributing. Okay. Because when I do my daily stuff, I want to be able to write who I'm going to give a shout out to for being able to contribute in class. Eleanor, can you think of something I would need in a building if I was in a wheelchair?
I would say Darren.
Or what was that?
Like you said, a shower?
That's what I thought you
Shower.
said. Did you say a shower?
Yes?
Well, hopefully I will never be in a workplace where I actually have to take a shower there. But if you think about it, sometimes people that work with chemicals, if they get a chemical spill on them, they're in the shower. It's like if you get, even at Tyler, Royce, you guys probably remember this. Probably all you three, too, you Jordan too. Do you remember at Kaiser, they had that place where they had the eye wash station in the dock? Do you remember that?
I think so.
Yeah, they have a little tiny sink where the water shoots up like this. How horrifying to have to do this. I wouldn't want chemicals in my eyes, but yeah, you would have to bend over that sink and that water shoots up, and you're supposed to rinse your eyes for like, I don't know, 7 minutes or something like that. But that's in case you get chemicals in your eyes. But some places like my daughter was her major in school was chemistry, and they actually had showers there because sometimes the students would get like acid spilled on them, have to go to take off all their clothes, get their clothes off, and get in that shower and wash that acid off, because you just have seconds. Not even that really, but I mean, the longer you stay in wearing something that has acid spilled on it, that's going to eat through everything, right? Clothes are nothing, so gotta take your clothes off so it stops. You get everything off because you can't rinse it being in your clothes. You take your clothes off, get in that shower, wash off all that acid, and then call 911 and see what the damage is. Okay, so those are some good things that you need to have accessible that you can add in your answer, because you have to explain what accessible is and maybe give an example. And you guys have given some awesome examples. Okay, so adult services is the next one. And this is, so the definition is services needed for people they reach adulthood. These services often include, but not limited to, help in finding a job, home, help at work, and providing therapies and medication. So that's going to be kind of hard to define that in your own words, because it's just, you can describe accessible in different ways and give examples, but the adult services ones is going to be a little bit hard not to, copy that definition down. Try and change it around if you can. So I'll leave it at that. So definition for the adult services, you guys can kind of put down what that is, the answer that you already have, because that's, unless you can reword it, that'd be better if you could reword it. But that one is kind of hard because it's kind of just like that's what it is. You can give examples of that, like you can say what an adult service is, like a company, which we're going to actually do that later on anyway. In fact, that's our next thing we're going to work on. So compensatory strategies. Actions one may take in order to offset difficulties a person may experience. I guess there's a lot of ways you can say that. Does anybody have an idea of how you can re-say that for your definitions?
Complementary strategies.
That's a hard word for me to say. Compensatory. It's the last part that is hard for me to say.
Compensatory.
Yeah, that's kind of an odd word. Compensatory strategies. Actions one may take in order to offset.
You're assisting others who can't understand certain things.
Yeah, because it's making it easier for them. Yeah. Yeah.
Reducing, offsetting the unpleasant or unwelcome effects of something. That's the actual definition. Then,
Yeah. Some of the stuff is kind of hard to say in your own words, huh?
Yeah.
Without saying like exactly what it says for the definition. And some of them you're gonna not be able to say in your own words, because doesn't vary too much. But you can give examples, like Royce just said. So Royce, when you write your definitions down, make sure you put your example in there, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So in any of these, answering these definitions, so if you can put your examples, of that, I think that'd be great, especially for the words that you have to copy what they actually said. On those words, go ahead and put some examples on there, like the adult services. Put an example in there, or you can name an adult service too. Okay, so disability. Under the ADA, which stands for Americans with Disabilities, a physical or mental impairment that limits one or more major life activities, including but not limited to walking, eating, speaking, breathing, working, standing, or thinking. So that takes care of like all of it, right? So if you have a disability that makes your life harder, or can't do some aspect of your life, like walking without a cane. If they took that cane away, you can't walk. Okay. So that, if it disrupts your life in any way, it's a disability. Okay. Especially if it's permanent. If you sprain your ankle and have to wear a foot brace, that's a little different. You have a disability for a short period of time, right? But other disabilities, they're lifelong. So you can explain that one, like how I just said, anything that disrupts your everyday life, or anything that makes your everyday life harder that you have to live with, basically, right? So you can put that down, and then, like the example I said, if you can't walk without a cane, well, you can walk, but you have to have assistance with that. So, and it could be temporary disabilities, and it could be like, sometimes you don't have disabilities, like I was saying the other day about that shark. Was it this class I was talking about, that shark story?
Yeah, it was this class.
Yeah. Okay, so discrimination. Prejudice, outlook, action, or treatment against other persons or ideas. Now this one, I think on all of these you should probably give examples. What's that?
Judgment. You judge people. It's like.
Yeah, exactly. And boy, let me tell you, there's a bazillion things people could be prejudiced against you for, right?
Too many to count.
There is, and it's not just a color. I know a lot of people think that, it's just Caucasians don't like African Americans, Mexicans don't like people from India. I mean, it's just you think about it like that, but it's not just the color of your skin or where you're from, right? It could be because I'm a woman, could be because I'm an older woman, right? Could be you're a young man. People think that younger people don't know a lot of stuff. That's kind of a stereotype.
Don't generally, but still.
No, but that doesn't mean that you don't, though, right?
That's true.
I can't look at you, Clad, and say, "Oh, he's young. He's not going to know anything on the computer." It's like, see, I'd be wrong, right? You can do a lot of stuff on the computer, right?
Right, because that thing, yeah.
well, I know Tyler knows a lot. Royce knows a lot of stuff too. So you can't look at someone because you're young and say, you're not going to know that. You're not going to know that because you don't know what they know. They could know way more than you. They might spend hours researching on how to do things on the computer and know a lot more than an older person, which I'm sure happens quite often. So, yeah, you can't. I mean, oh my gosh. So you guys come up with something that you can be discriminated against. Maybe not you personally, just in general. What are other things beside the color of your skin and being a man or a woman? What else do you think they discriminate against?
It could discriminate disability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jordan, you had your hand up. What were you going to say?
I was going to say they could discriminate against your disability, either if you can see it or if you can't see it. They could discriminate and be like, and for people that have one in their mind, they could be like, oh, you're dumb, you don't know what you're talking about, you're dumb, when you're actually smart, but they're just thinking that, and it's like, you don't even know me, so why are you judging me?
Right.
I hate that so much.
What's that, Clyde?
I said I hate that so much because people just judge you based off looks or something without actually getting to know you.
Right. That is totally unfair. I never, ever judge anybody for how they look, ever. Because you never know. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People are too prideful to admit it, though.
Yeah. So
That sucks.
it does. It does. I was at a gym years ago working out, and there was this man. He was a younger guy, probably about 28, 30, something like that. He was all covered with tattoos. And, a lot of people have stereotype about people that are all tattooed, right? Oh, that's a thug because they're all full of tattoos. But I had a question. I asked him something, and it was so long ago, I don't remember what I asked him. I can't remember if it was the machine he was on I had a question on, or something about his shirt. No, it wasn't about a tattoo. It was I think it was about one of the machines because I wanted to use it and I wasn't sure how. So I asked him, and he was the sweetest guy. Oh my God. He just, oh, sure, I'll show you this. And then he just answered my question, and then we talked for a little bit. His mannerism was so polite and so sweet. And I remember thinking, I hope people don't judge him because the way he looks, because he looked like a rough character. He really did. Until he opened his mouth and started talking, it's like, oh my God, he's a big teddy bear. He was just, he was seriously really super sweet, and it kind of made me feel bad. Not that I thought of him as a rough-looking character and judged him that way, but I was just looking at him thinking, especially after that, thinking, I hope people give him a chance and not think the worst of him right away because he looks kind of rough on the exterior, So, yeah, there was this guy that worked at Hot Topic. His face was tattooed. He had like 15 piercings all over his face, all in his ears, all over his face. Really, someone that like, wow, that's really excessive, right? Tattoos everywhere. And also the most friendliest, helpful person. He was wonderful, just beautiful personality, very talkative, very friendly, very nice. I was really impressed with his personality. He was a sweetie. So yeah, you really can't, you got to give people a chance because you never know. And then it could work the other way around too. You can see someone that they look so nice, because some people have a really, and I don't mean to say nice looking as handsome or beautiful. I mean, very friendly face, a very nice looking, and not, like I said, not in a pretty way, but in a very friendly way, right?
Maybe a little too friendly.
And they might not be good people at all, despite what they look, right? Because maybe they're pretty or handsome, and they have a nice looking face, but they might not be good people. I don't know. And I've known a few people like that myself. So, you know, you just have to give people a chance, no matter what they look like, right? No matter what age, no matter what they look like, no matter where they're from. You have to give everybody the same kind of chance, and everyone deserves the same kind of opportunity as everybody else.
That's true.
Yeah. And you know what, too? A lot of people discriminate against senior citizens, like people 80 and up. A lot of people think they can't hear. They're old. They must be hard of hearing. They're old. They must have forgotten everything. Not all of them, no. Not all of them, no. My mom is 83. She's not hard of hearing. You know, so you can't just assume, you know, things about people. So you can put some examples on that discrimination, things we've discussed, stories of your own, put that in there, right? Because the more you write on these, and this is what I'm getting at, and this is why I'm having you do the definitions, because I want you guys to be able to write well and be able to explain things, like explain a situation that you saw or maybe have been in that had discrimination, something that you've dealt with or you've seen someone else deal with discriminating. And this is just trying to get your writing skills up, right? Because I think that's very important skill to have, especially when you're looking for a job, right? A lot of times you have to do some writing while you're working, so, you know, I want you guys to have some.
That depends on what specific role you play, though.
That's true. That's true. But if you want to make an inventory list, like say in the cafeteria in the Kaiser, you want to make an inventory list, ask for them to order, hey, I need some more diet root beer or whatever. You know, you need to be able to write this stuff down, right? Or you need to communicate with your boss. You need to say, hey, I need next Wednesday off. I have a doctor appointment. You know, you need to be able to write nicely so they can understand your meaning, right? So all this writing I want you guys to do. Then this is why the journal prompts too. We'll work on the journal prompt and the second meeting today. But so the journal prompt, I think it worked really well yesterday when I had all of your guys' Google Docs up on the screen. And I would say, okay, Tyler, I'm working on yours right now, and then make comments, have you start writing, and then go to like Eleanor's. Eleanor, I'm working on yours right now. I think that worked really well. I know I was trying to keep you guys busy in writing as I was working with the next student, but I think overall, I think it was pretty good. So get your journal prompts on Google Docs. I'm sure it's probably in the classroom, so you can open it up in Google Docs for the next class meeting. Okay, so start on this, start on your writing your definitions out. I will send this out as soon as we're done with the Zoom, so you can all have them on Google Docs. And I'll pop in the next 2 hours between the 2 Zoom meetings. I'll pop in there and check if you share them with me when you start to writing, and I can give you some, I'll see what you guys are writing and give you some examples. So, so that's the plan. Okay, so let's see. Eligibility, that's probably going to be a hard one because the definition is criteria or requirements which determine a right to participate in a particular activity, service, or program. Again, if you need to copy the answer, give some examples there. Okay. Like name like 2 different things that you would have to be eligible for something, like one of the requirements. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be, because eligibility, it doesn't have to necessarily be geared towards disability, right? Like if you're going to be, for an example, if you're going to be a Boy Scout, well, you got to be a boy, right? You're going to be in Girl Scouts, you got to be a girl. That's a requirement, right? So it could be anything like that. Like to be a student at Laura Ruff, well, you have to have a disability, right? You're not going to have a person in there that's a student that doesn't have a disability, right? That's a criteria. So that kind of examples. If you have any questions on this or any questions on the examples that you want to use, go ahead and shoot me a text and ask me. Okay, and I'll be happy to help you guys. So you don't have to wait until the next tomorrow morning meeting to go over the words. But so I would say get as much as you can done today. I would say, okay, there's 10 words altogether. Okay, get at least 5 of them. But
Okay.
that Royce, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you trying to stay awake? Do you
No.
you need some toothpicks for your eyes?
That would hurt.
Yeah, I have them in my eyes to stay awake, but you can't see them. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, so work on 5, and the only reason why I don't say work on all 10 is because I want examples with your answers. So it's going to be a little time consuming, guys, okay? And if you need help with those examples, shoot me a text and I'll be happy to help you with them, okay? Like I said, the main idea is so you guys can get some writing in, okay? So the second meeting, of course, is going to be for the journal prompt, and we'll work on that and do our best to get that done within that hour so you don't have extra homework. So, okay?
Okay.
So let me know if you guys have any, questions or whatever you want to, I'm always here for you guys, so just, you guys know that. Okay, so at least do 5, and I will get on this right now and send you guys the Google Docs for this so you can write them in there. Okay?
All right.
All right, guys. And thank you so much for talking so much in class, Royce. I really am happy about that. Okay? All right, guys. I will see you in a few hours at 11:30. Okay?
All right. See
Okay.
you, man.
Bye.
Okay,
See you.
bye, guys.
See you.
Bye.
See you.